President Museveni's first and most urgent directive addresses Uganda's crippling electricity costs, a major barrier to industrialization.
In our manifesto, we committed to increase the generation capacity. And as I speak now, at least we have progressed on key power plants. I can talk about Isimba, which is already up and running, generating 183 megawatts. I can talk about Kaluma, the biggest power plant that we have, which is generating 600 megawatts.
There has been a deliberate effort by government to conclude the large generation plants that were largely funded by government. Today, for Karuma, we are achieving a generation tariff of 4.9 US cents per kilowatt hour. Isimba, we are achieving a generation tariff of 4.1 US cents per kilowatt hour. Right now, Bujagali, we are at about 8 US cents per kilowatt hour. So what this has done is, as we onboard these generation plants, of course, we start enjoying some slight reduction in the tariffs.
With tariffs of 42% higher than regional competitors, this strategic intervention aims to slash power prices to 5 US cents for manufacturers, making Uganda Africa's most competitive investment destination.
So the first beneficiary of this reduction has been the extra large industries, where today we are able to achieve the 5 US cents per kilowatt hour at off-peak. That is between midnight and 6 a.m. So today the extra large industries are able to really run their facilities and benefit from that tariff. Of course, our target is to ensure that this cascades further up to even our small and medium enterprises, but also the households. But like I said, it's a journey. As we continue to invest, we continue to address the losses on our networks. And how do we address these losses? By investing and rehabilitating our transmission and distribution networks.
On the access side, over 2.3 million users have been added to the national grid, and the government is planning to add more 1.5 million users in the next 5 years. Besides, for the first time in the history of Uganda, President Yoweri Museveni commissioned the 289 kilometers Kole Gulu Nibarua 132 kilovolt transmission line connecting West Nile to the national electricity grid. President Museveni's strategic investment in Uganda's energy sector are finally bearing fruit, transforming the country's power landscape from one of scarcity and exorbitant costs to reliability and affordability. With Uganda now able to generate enough electricity for the country, government is now steadily recapitalizing and revolutionizing the rail network system in the country in order to match with these volumes. Renovation of the meter gauge rail is underway, as Mr. Waiswa Bagea explains.
As you know, the meter gauge railway has been the railway I've been using since the colonial times. Unfortunately, during those darker days, if I may call them, this railway was wasted. It was not maintained, and to make it worse, it was vandalized. The whole Kampala to Kasese line was vandalized. We have the Busoga loop was vandalized fully. So now the government has embarked on rehabilitating these roads, these railways. As I talk now, we have done more than 90% of the meter gauge railway from Mukono up to Malaba.
The passenger train operations were launched by the Minister of Works, General Katumba Omala. To move at the same pace with the modern world, President Yoweri Museveni launched the construction of the 272-kilometer standard gauge rail last year from Malaba on the Kenyan border to Kampala, Uganda's capital. Yapi Mackenzie's group from Turkey has been selected to carry out this investment. This project will cost approximately 2.7 billion euros, about Uganda shillings 10.8 trillion, and construction is expected to last for 4 years.
I wish to inform you that this month, the standard gauge rail construction is set to start, is set to begin.
Acquisition of land for the Standard Gauge Rail project is complete, and the government has paid over 134 billion shillings for compensation to 5,336 project-affected persons.
Eno transformation yennyini togiraba, abantu bajja kufuna emirimu, leka emirimu eginaabeera muno mwennyini niye waliwo emirimu nga ffe abali casual people tujja kufumba kabalagala, tujja kufumba caayi, restaurants, hotels for employment. So nze nkiraba project okujja kwayo ya Standard Gauge erina kikulu kyegenda okukola ku bulamu bw'abantu wano mu kitundu.
With the growing population in the country currently standing at 46 million Ugandans, Uganda is strategically positioning itself as a key hub for industrialization through the development of industrial parks, which are envisioned to be essential for the country's economic growth and prosperity. The Uganda Investment Authority was tasked with spearheading the establishment of 22 industrial and business parks throughout Uganda, focusing on job creation, improving access to land for investment, promoting research and technology innovation, enhancing skill development, and ultimately boosting exports.
We have already 11 industrial parks, operational industrial parks in Uganda. You know, there is Namave Industrial Park, Kambada Industrial and Business Park, Boyogere Industrial Park is an industrial park under Uganda Investment Authority. Luzira is another one. We have Kasese, we have Mbale, we have Kapeka, to mention but a few. We have 11 operational industrial parks.
These industrial parks have emerged as pivotal hubs for economic development, innovation, and providing livelihoods for more than 2 million Ugandans directly and indirectly employed. Against this background, Uganda Investment Authority continues to acquire more land for industrial development across the country as per government strategic investment plan for technology transfer and skills development, export-oriented manufacturing, and local raw material utilization.
So what we did, we have gone around the country and mobilized 81 square miles of land for industrial park development, free from our local governments. So you go to Kisoro, you have 600 square mile of land in Kisoro free for industrial park development. Yumbe gave us 1,200 acres of land. Rukunjiri, 600 acres. Lira, 500 acres. We go to Soroti, there is also land there. Karamoja, there is land for industrial park development. So really we have got almost 81 square miles of land for industrial park development. Now we are looking to financing to ensure these industrial parks are developed. So we are on the journey. Of course, industrial park development, building them needs a lot of resources, but we have secured the land for that. There are already operational parks here, and we are in the process of ensuring that is done.
To enhance the investment climate, the Uganda Investment Authority has established a one-stop center at its main offices in Kampala. This initiative is an answer to the President's directive of streamlining the licensing process for investors, enabling them to obtain necessary permits that include a trading license, certificate of incorporation, and environmental impact assessment, among others, easier and faster.
At least for the investment license of Uganda Investment Authority, the average we take is 21 hours. I still think there is a lot to be done in that. If an investor comes here, we shouldn't wait a whole day to give you a license. If all the documentation are there, it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to get a license with me. And that happens. But the reason why sometimes it stretches 21 hours is there could be a documentation that is missing. You need a business plan to get an investment license. So if you don't have that business plan, it will be very difficult for us to give it to you. So maybe they bring that. So that information asymmetry might be an issue. But in terms of meeting the directive on investment licenses being given within 48 hours, we hit that. At average is 21 hours at Uganda Investment Authority.
This initiative has reduced bureaucratic obstacles and is attracting more investment and making Uganda a more accessible and conducive environment for business operations. Over the years, Uganda has had challenges, especially poor physical infrastructure and other non-tariff barriers that hugely affected efficient trading and depressing trading opportunities across major borders. Today, the NRM leadership has actively developed the road infrastructure to facilitate movement of goods, enabling producers in rural areas to access urban markets and international trade routes. To improve efficiency, reduce costs and boost the competitiveness of Ugandan exports, the NRM, through Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, has rolled out 8 one-stop border posts in the country to streamline and facilitate trade and free movement of goods and people between neighboring countries. These one-stop border posts are designed to consolidate border control procedures and services in a single location, reducing duplication and inefficiencies. This is the new Goli one-stop border post, a transformation from a small border crossing with dilapidated infrastructure to a modern integrated border management facility with coordinated procedures. In place, there is the customs shed and warehouse, border official offices, staff quarters, internal roads based on the planned business flow and movement of people. Located in Northwestern Corridor, this one-stop border post was established to facilitate border crossing between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
The border point actually has really simplified business. Unlike those days where you find a client would come clear with customs, then we look for the Office of Migration, go to security to check their offices. So right now, we are actually operating under one roof. That's a big push really to simplify business operations across the border.
Mutukula Border Post. Located in Rakai district on the border of Uganda and Tanzania, this border point is a major crossing point. Busia is a busy border crossing point between Uganda and Kenya, where more than 3,000 people and 900 vehicles cross daily. Malaba is another one-stop border between Uganda and Kenya on the northern corridor with similar facilities. Elegu is a major gateway to South Sudan from Uganda, and it is a major crossing of goods and people moving in both directions. Mpondo Customs in Kasese district is another one-stop border post that is facilitating cross-border trade in the Great Lakes region with DR Congo. The Katuna one-stop border post links Uganda to Rwanda and is facilitating trade in the region, promoting prosperity and regional integration. Since its establishment, business operations in the area has transformed.
This system of one-stop border is so good. First of all, in terms of time, because when you're cleared by the Rwandan official, you immediately cross and the Ugandan official clears you. On the side of decision making, it's very easy, because in case I get a challenge, it's easy for me to consult my colleague. And then it has also facilitated people in terms of time. Those days we used to clear a bus and you take ages, but now, depending on the time of the hour, the buses are cleared so fast and people don't waste a lot of time at the border.
Established in 1998, the Inspectorate of Government continued to promote and foster strict adherence to the rule of law. Under the NRM leadership, 16 regional offices have been established across the country to help in quick detection, prevention, and enforce the leadership code of conduct.
This is because corruption, what most people think is our main function, fighting corruption. But corruption happens at the tail end of a process that begins by violation of rules and regulations.
In the continued pursuit for zero tolerance to corruption in Uganda, government, through Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, established the Interagency Forum Against Corruption, which is a coordinating mechanism for institutions that are mandated to enhance accountability and fight corruption in the country. The Inspectorate of Government, Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Authority, Office of the Auditor General, State House Anti-Corruption Unit, the Criminal Investigations Directorate Fraud Squad, among others. Besides the main achievements registered by this arm of government, between 2022 and 2023, over 2,082 corruption cases were investigated, and consequently, 555 culprits have been prosecuted in courts of law, while 82 public officials have also been convicted and barred from holding public offices for a period of 10 years. Furthermore, In 2020 and 2023, over 417 special and forensic investigations were undertaken by the Office of the Auditor General, and consequently, 97 billion was averted, while assets worth 367.9 billion were recovered.
And I want to use this opportunity to inform people out there that if you are dissatisfied with the way government is handling you as a service consumer and a taxpayer, you should report to the Inspectorate of Government. If, for example, you go to police to report a case and they don't handle you well and they ask you for money and they dilly-dally so that you give them money, do not accept that poor quality service. Report to the Inspector General of Government.
With more government support, the Inspectorate of Government will continue to fulfill its mandate of fostering strict adherence to the rule of law for a better society that is corruption-free. With these achievements, there is no doubt that the implementation status of the 23 presidential guidelines and directives
UBC, inspiring Uganda.